the Honorable President of TEFLIN, Professor Utami Widiati, MA, PhD, my fellow colleagues from several universities located in Sulawesi and Maluku, and of course, the participants of this afternoon's webinar. As the coordinator of Sulawesi and Maluku chapter, I welcome you all to the webinar organized by this chapter as a token of appreciation in welcoming the new rule that your government has just issued, and also to end the period of being coordinator of Sulawesi and Maluku chapter. But I believe, yeah, we will do more in the future as, if I'm not mistaken, there will be new rules and regulations and breakthroughs by the president, and we're looking forward to the, the good news. Yeah. So once again, welcome everyone, and we'll enjoy three great speakers from three different parts. One from Sulawesi Island, one from Maluku, and the other one is from North Maluku. So I believe we will be listening to, interesting insights based on the context of the region where they are residing. So without further ado, I will give Prof. Utami the opportunity to give a speech. But before that, let's listen to TEFLIN hymn.
Try
Okay. Now let's listen to the speech by the president of TEFLIN, and I'd like to invite yeah.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible, Prof. Nita? Can you hear
Yes.
me? Yes. All right. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A very good
Waalaikumsalam.
afternoon and warm greetings from TEFLIN, the Association for the Teaching of English as a Foreign Language in Indonesia. Ibu, Bapak, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, I hope all of you are feeling well this afternoon. And on behalf of TEFLIN, I'm very pleased to welcome you all to this webinar. The topic is very interesting, yes, but we don't know whether this policy is going to be real or not with the changes of the governments and ministry. But still, I think there are things that need to be shared and discussed concerning this plan of having English at the elementary schools to be one of the compulsory subjects starting in 2027. Ibu, Bapak, ladies and gentlemen, this webinar is organized by TEFLIN of Sulawesi and Maluku chapter in collaboration with, I think, a number of universities surrounding Sulawesi and Maluku, yeah. So we have Universitas Manado, Universitas Tadulako, Universitas Patimura, Universitas Khairun, and of course Universitas Negeri Makassar, yeah. Thank you very much for making this webinar possible. And of course, I would like to express my gratitude and utmost appreciation to the distinguished speakers. Here we have Associate Professor Mokhtar Marhum from Universitas Tadulako. Selamat siang, Bapak. Salam
Prof.
sehat dari Malang ini. I've been to Palu quite many times, yeah, when we had collaboration long time ago between Universitas Negeri Malang and Universitas Tadulako, yeah. And then we have Ibu Dr. Rosina Lekawai from Universitas Patimura. Selamat ini menuju sore ya, menuju sore di Ambon. Oke, thank you Ibu.
Salam kenal.
Salam kenal. Thank you. And then Bapak Dr. Sutaryo from Universitas Khairun Ternate.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima
Salam
kasih.
kenal.
Yeah, salam kenal. All right, thank you very much. And we have the moderator from Universitas Negeri Makassar ya, Bapak. Bentar tadi Bapak. Pak La.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Balas Sundra, Prof.
Yeah, I just remember the La, yeah. The La means no. All right. Okay, Ibu, Bapak, of course, special big thanks go to the coordinator of
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Yeah. Okay, special big thanks go to the coordinator of TEFLIN Sulawesi and Maluku chapter, Ibu Professor Nihta Liando, yeah, as he mentioned that it's going to end to mark the end of our service in 2024. So we're going to have another term of serve that is from 2024 to 2028. So hopefully TEFLIN will become more and more popular among teachers and university lecturers, so that everyone is not, it's not something that is strange to us working in English language teaching area. Ibu Prof. Nita, of course, with the team, have been working very hard to make this well-attended webinar possible. And sincere appreciation is, of course, devoted to all the participants, the audience, who have been willing to take part in the event. So we're going to listen to all the speakers here, discussion concerning challenges and opportunities regarding the planned making English as a compulsory subject at elementary schools in our country in Indonesia. So I hope that everyone will enjoy this webinar and it can be a fruitful means to share practical experiences, the knowledge, the insights that can be beneficial for the wider community, especially in the fields of English language teaching and learning. Have a fantastic webinar. Congratulations, Prof. Nita and all the team. Bapak, stay safe. Ya. Selamat menikmati webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Thank you, Prof. Utami.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. I think it is now the chance for Dr. Lasundra to start introducing our speakers and run the presentation. Pak Lasundra, it's all yours. Pak Lasundra, you're still muted. Pak Lasundra. It's now your turn.
Seems to have technical problems.
Pak Lasundra, are you okay with the connection? We can see you very clearly.
His speaker is muted.
No, he's no longer muted though.
Unmute.
Pak Lasundra.
Yeah, perhaps some technical problems.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Everyone is waiting for you, Bapak.
Oh, sorry, sorry. In fact, my internet access is unstable.
Oh, okay.
Is that clear now?
Yep.
Sure, yes, very clear.
Hello. Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Prof. Utami and other friends. Well, this afternoon we will have three distinguished speakers, as already mentioned by Prof. Utami. Yeah, let me introduce a little bit about these three distinguished speakers. The first one, let's welcome Associate Professor Mokhtar Marhum, PhD, from Tadulako University, specifically from English Language Education Study Program, Department of Languages and Arts Education, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. He completed his first degree in English Language Education Study Program at Tadulako University in 1992. 5 years later, he received Australian Development Scholarship, ADS, and starting in 2001, he also got the same scholarship for PhD program. Both programs were completed at Flinders University. In 2006, he then returned to Indonesia after completing his PhD He has been working as a lecturer and a researcher at FKIP Tadulako University. He has a lot of experience. He used to be a coordinator of Master of Education at Graduate School of Tadulako University. Next, he was also the chairman of Academic Senate of Teacher Training and Education Faculty Lecturers. Next, chairman of Indonesian Lecturer Association of Central Sulawesi, and also coordinator of Central Sulawesi TEFLIN Suma. His teaching and research interests are writing skills, public speaking, language policy and planning, and cross-cultural understanding. Yeah, the last one, let me tell you that besides being a lecturer, he is also a content creator, a YouTuber, columnist, and social media influencer. Yeah, that's Muhtar Marhum PhD. The next one, the second speaker would be Associate Professor Dr. Dr. Sutario MED TESL EDD. His bachelor was in English Language Education, IKIP Negeri Manado in 1991. Then his Master of Education was from the University of Southern Australia.
Ya, tahu. Tapi Pak ya?
And then Doctor of Education in TESL and Flinders University, 2016. Yeah. His office address, Program Studi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris FKIP Universitas Khairul. Not well, the last speaker would be Dr. Rosina Francisca.
Yang TEFLIN Sulawesi, Maluku.
From Ambon. Yeah, Ambon. She's got a lot of experience. Teaching experiences. Wow, quite a lot. Yeah, I don't want to tell you all the courses, but let me tell you some. For example, language curriculum development theory and practice, language policy and planning, critical perspective, also reflective micro teaching, and many more. The courses that she has already taught. Also, she also has quite a lot of experiences in research and articles. One of the articles she wrote. Yeah, let me read one here. 2022. Motivation and self-regulation of English study program in online learning. This is the this article was presented in the 7th International Seminar on Education in 2022 FKIP Unpati Committee. I think this is a brief introduction of our distinguished speakers today. And next, we will invite our speakers in turn. Probably each speaker will be about 15 minutes. Yeah, not more than 15 minutes, I guess. In order that later we will have sharing session, Q&A. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite the first speaker. Associate Professor Muhtar Mahrum PhD. Time is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and good afternoon, everyone. First of all, distinguished guests, especially President of TEFLIN, Professor Utami, ladies and gentlemen, honorable participants or audiences of this prestigious event of National Seminar on TEFLIN, English language teaching for the young learners or elementary school students. Well, please allow me to be I'm going to be presenting my paper with the title Language Education Policy in Indonesia in the Digital Age. After presentation, I will play a YouTube video on experiences of some colleagues regarding the use of digital technology in English language learning and teaching. Okay, as Indonesia embraces the digital revolutions, its language education policies must evolve to meet the needs of a tech-savvy generation. This presentation explores the challenges and opportunities of integrating digital tools and strategies into language classrooms across archipelago. Okay, importance of language education in Indonesia. Indonesia is a multilingual, multicultural country and identified as linguistic diversity. Indonesia is home to over 700 languages and mostly spoken in West Papua. And they are called local languages, indigenous languages, or vernaculars. It's reflecting the rich cultural heritage of its people. And next, economic opportunities. Proficiency in multiple languages can open doors to better jobs and international business opportunities. And cultural preservation. Language education helps preserve indigenous languages, local languages, and traditions, fostering national unity and diversity. Challenges facing traditional language education. First, outdated curriculum. And as far as we are concerned, that in Indonesia, curriculum change is always occurs when there's new regime, new ministry cabinet, curriculum change, and then not only the cabinet ministry of education change, but also the curriculum change. It's very, it sounds ridiculous. Limited resources. So regarding outdated curriculum, back to what I just mentioned, many languages programs rely on outdated textbooks and teaching methods, failing to engage students. Limited resources, underfunding, lack of access to modern technology hinders the effectiveness of language education. That's limited resources. And then lack of relevance. Traditional approaches often fail to connect language learning to real world applications and student interests. Integration digital technology in language classroom. As far as we are concerned, that the digital technology age emerged, and then there's a change in terms of transformation from traditional language teaching and learning to the digital or modern supported by technology. We call it digital technology or IT. Integrating digital technologies in language classroom, multimedia content, incorporating videos, audios, recordings, interactive exercises to enhance language immersion, and personalized learning, leveraging adaptive learning technologies to tailor instruction to individual student needs and abilities. That's a virtual collaboration. Current language education policies in Indonesia. Policy objectives: promote multilingual, preserve endangered languages, and improve English proficiency. Curriculum reforms: introduce digital tools and interactive methods to engage students and improve learning outcomes. Teacher training: provide professional development opportunities to help educators integrate technology into their lessons. Opportunities and barriers of digitalization. Opportunities: increase access to authentic language resources, personalized learning, and global collaboration. Barriers: uneven access to technology, digital literacy gaps, and resistance to change among educators. Then equity concerns: ensuring digital language education benefits students regardless of socioeconomic status or location. Policy adaptations: developing policies that address technological, pedagogical, and logistical challenges. Best practices for effective digital language education. Teacher training: equips educators with the skills to effectively integrate technology into their language lesson. Connectivity: ensure reliable internet access and technology infrastructure in all language classrooms. Curriculum design: develop digital first curricula that leverage technology to enhance language learning, stakeholder engagement, involve parents, communities, and industry partners to support digital language education. Let's come to the end of presentation. Recommendations for future policy considerations. Increase funding. Schools, or let's say some educational institutions, many lack funding. So allocate more resources to upgrade technological infrastructure and provide teacher training. And then number 2, foster innovation, encourage the development of novel digital tools and teaching methods tailored to local needs. And then promoting equality. Ensure digital language education is accessible to all students, regardless of their background. Well, that's it, my presentation. And then I would like the operator to give me a favor by playing my YouTube video. It takes for, let's say, 5 or 6 minutes, and it's on some experiences on language policy and digital learning, presented by Professor Andikik and some colleagues from Tadulako University sharing their experience. And one of my colleague, Dr. Tamrin, told his experience regarding his son's method of learning, strategy of learning using digital technology. Okay, Mr. Operator, would you please give me a favor to play the YouTube from my channel YouTube? I just sent it. Post it in group.
And I'll just talk very briefly here about Indonesia because it's a fascinating example. Indonesia, as I mentioned earlier, has something like 700 languages spoken in it. And when the youth and the rebellion movement were coming up against the Dutch and so forth, coming up during the Second World War and before, they were looking for a language that they could use to express the independence of Indonesia. And they chose eventually Bahasa Malaysia, which was a language not spoken by many Indonesians at all. In fact, Bahasa Malaysia was spoken by only 3% of the population as a first language when it was adopted as the language of liberation, the language of revolution, and then became constitutionally enshrined as the national language after the Second World War. Now, something like 70% of the population of Indonesia will claim to have a pretty good knowledge of Indonesian. Bahasa Indonesia, they call it Bahasa Indonesia, which is an Indonesian language. It's basically Malay with differences. I mean, there's a different sort of vocabulary set and so forth, but basically it's the same language after the national language, with the sole exception of Indonesia. Indonesia is the only country of most of this part of the world, most of Asia, that doesn't have English as a compulsory subject in the primary curriculum. Having said that, if you want to set up a primary school in Indonesia and you don't have English, the parents may not send their kids to it because they'll think English is hugely important for little Jimmy or little Julie to become hugely into.
Itu yang sekarang yang menjadi tren ya. Inspirasi saya pertama itu ketika saya masuk di S3, kemudian mencoba merancang apa yang akan saya teliti. Nah, pada saat itu saya melihat bahwa pembelajaran yang monoton itu sangat membosankan bagi mahasiswa kita. Sehingga kita perlu variasikan dengan hal, apalagi sekarang anak-anak kita tidak bisa deny ya, melihat anak-anak lebih tertarik, malah lebih cenderung lebih pintar daripada kita sendiri dalam menggunakan teknologi. Nah, this is challenging of course. Nah, kita tentunya di dalam kelas harus bisa memfasilitasi ini, menguasai tentunya lebih daripada mahasiswa itu sendiri. Nah, sehingga itulah yang menginspirasi saya mengambil tulisan saya pertama waktu S3 itu bagaimana menggunakan media pembelajaran dalam bahasa Inggris. Dan utamanya saya terinspirasi media dalam bentuk asinkronus dan sinkronus. Nah, saya tidak terlalu paham sebenarnya dengan teknologi, dengan media, dengan aplikasi. Tapi saya bisa jalankan dengan berkolaborasi dengan orang yang bisa teknisnya.
Mantap.
Sehingga disitulah saya berkolaborasi dengan mahasiswa teknik. Iya, mahasiswa teknik yang waktu mahasiswa informatika, dia yang mendesain aplikasi, saya coba memberikan gambaran saya mau seperti ini sehingga dia mendesain aplikasi. Nah, disitulah pertama saya mengajar Moodle LMS, Learning Management System, yang belum digunakan di FKIP, Pak.
Lagi-lagi, morning again. Kita jumpa di podcast channel YouTube saya. Tadi kita bincang-bincang bersama sahabat-sahabat saya, akademisi, pengajar, dosen, guru, dan tokoh, ya, tokoh pendidik, Pak Mas. Tapi yang jelas siswa harus menguasai bahasa Inggris untuk menghadapi era sekarang, era digital, era globalisasi. Bagaimana pandangan Pak Ropo?
Ya, saya kira betul bahwa di era digital sekarang sebenarnya lebih mudah untuk mengajarkan bahasa Inggris kepada anak-anak.
Dibandingkan yang lain.
Ya, karena banyaknya resources ya. Makanya sekarang ada istilah informal digital learning of English. Bahwa anak-anak itu secara informal bisa belajar sendiri sebenarnya. Tugas guru adalah bagaimana menginkorporasi atau menggabungkan antara pembelajaran atau dia belajar di luar dengan di dalam. Nah, itu yang kita lakukan di kampus, bagaimana di siswa-siswa atau calon guru dia bisa mengetahui juga tentang digital teknologi, digital teaching kan, supaya nanti bagaimana dia bisa mendorong anak-anak itu tidak hanya belajar di kelas, tapi di luar kelas. Contohnya anak saya begini, anak saya itu setelah pulang dari Inggris, dia bahasa Inggrisnya berkembang karena cuma nonton YouTube sambil membaca. Tapi tiba-tiba di kelas 6 SD, TOEFL-nya bisa 590 tanpa belajar TOEFL.
Hanya belajar melalui
YouTube, ya, YouTube, dia menonton YouTube. Nah, dan juga membaca. Jadi membaca novel ya, leisure reading. Nah, sekarang banyak aplikasi yang anak-anak bisa membaca. Kalau dia tidak suka buku, ya, pokoknya ada webtoon, ada webpad. Nah ini yang di kelas di teaching pokoknya itu saya encourage atau dorong mahasiswa kita untuk menggunakan juga teknologi untuk mengajarkan bahasa Inggris dan juga mendorong anak-anak untuk belajar secara otonomi. Tadi kan ada profil pelajar Pancasila itu salah satunya dalam mandiri kan. Mandiri, mandiri. Jadi autonomy learning. Jadi sekarang anak-anak tidak perlu belajar lewat guru semata kan. Dia bisa belajar dari teknologi, dari luar dengan tapi guru
belajar otodidak.
Ya, guru adalah menginkorporasi, menggabungkan itu. Nah, ini yang saya lakukan juga di kelas. Saat ini saya semester lalu riset ya.
Oke.
Ya.
Well, that's it. 6 minutes video presented to friends and an expert, Professor Andy Kik, and they said Professor Kik gave a lecture on language education policy. in Southeast Asian, and he told about Indonesian practice experience in language teaching and English. And two friends told their experience. Professor Amina from FKIP, Prodi Bahasa Inggris, share her experience when he did his doctorate degree. Is on digital technology, and also Dr. Mukrim, he shared his experience, told his son's experience learning English through digital technology. His son is a primary school. When he went to UK, did his PhD, he brought his family with his son as well. And when he was back with his family, his son learned English through YouTube, and his English is very fantastic. He got a TOEFL score, obtained TOEFL score 560. Just learning from digital technology. Well, that's it, my presentation. And thank you very much for your attention and participation. Back to the moderator. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Pak Mokhtar Marhum PhD, Associate Professor. Next, we come to the second speaker, Dr. Rotranda Sudaryo, MED TESL, yeah, MED. Yeah, his presentation.
Sundra, I've taken more time to the allocated time that you provided me. Thank you very much.
Well,
back to the moderator.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bapak Dr. Rotranda Sudaryo, MED, TESOL, who has already presented excellent ideas on opportunities and challenges of ELT curriculum policy and its implementation in Indonesian elementary school. This might be interesting, I think, since stated just now that English will be obligatory for students in elementary school starting from 2027, 2028. The last presenter, 15 minutes, yeah. Let's invite Ibu Dr. Rosina Francisca, MA, who will talk about enhancing English education for Indonesian young learners, strategies for effective acquisition. Let's welcome Ibu Dr. Rosina.
Okay, thank you, Pak Lasundra, as the moderator of this webinar. Good afternoon to all of you, the Honorable, our TEFLIN President, Ibu, what's the name? Sorry, the Honorable, our coordinator of Sulawesi and Maluku TEFLIN, our guests, audience, and also the participants, all the students, and also the lecturers, maybe who are present here to involve in this webinar. I have already introduced by the moderator. Now, give me opportunity to present my title, Enhancing English Education for Indonesia Young Learners, Strategies for Effective Acquisition. Okay, Bapak Ibu, There are some points that I want to present here. There are 4 points that I'm going to share now. It's about definition of young learners, Indonesia English Young Learners Curriculum. I think this idea is already explained by the previous presenter. The third point is about teaching strategies in teaching English for young learners. And the last point is English young learners in the classroom, or the practice of English young learners in the classroom. And the last one is about conclusion. Okay, now we move to the first point. Let me quote a definition from McKay 2006 about definition of young learners. He said that young learners are defined as youngsters between the ages of 5 and 12. He said also that young learners are kids who pick up a language before or during their 6 years of formal schooling. Children in preschool, kindergarten, primary school, and middle school are considered young learners in the educational system. So here in this part, the expert wanna explain about who is or who are young learners, as mentioned in the definition. And the next is about benefits of learning English at a young age. According to Brockton, 2003, he said the benefits of learning English at a young age are young children have time to learn through play-like activities. The second is young children are still utilizing their unique innate language learning mechanism to acquire their native language. The next is young children have more time to integrate English into their everyday activities. And the fourth is young children are more likely to have better pronunciation and a better sense of the language and culture if they acquire language rather than intentionally learning it. Yeah. As we know that in teaching English for young learners or for the young children, most of the teachers usually use some approach or some methods in order to motivate or attract the students or the children to learn English. One of them mentioned here through play-like activities. So it connected with this theory from Brockton. We have to know that there is the difference between young learners and teenagers and also adults. And I put here the differences or the characteristics of young learners. They have a short attention span. They are very active or kinesthetic, love praise and reward, are less shy than older learners, enjoy imitating and are skillful in listening accurately, enjoy learning through playing, acting, making, and doing. They are imaginative, interpret meaning without necessarily understanding the individual word. And of course, young learners learn indirectly rather than directly. Okay, the next is about English learning at primary school in Indonesia. As the previous speakers the second speaker has already mentioned in the regulation that there are some rules or some regulation changing, but according to me, it's not change the role of the English itself as the use of English for the young learners. So here, English is as muatan lokal, or we said as local content. The condition of languages being used by students in Indonesia. There are around 700 languages in Indonesia. Most students speak local languages such as Japanese, Bataknese, Sundanese, Balinese, etc. Most students do not use kindergarten. And I'm going to continue with my slides. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after watching the video, what do you think of learning activities in the class? What do you think of the teacher? What do you think of the students? And will you do so in your class? Maybe I need some response from the students, or maybe certain lecturers regarding to the video have already watched. Some of you or one of you wanna say about the video? Yes, please. What do you think of the learning activities in the class?
AI.
AI.
I think.
Okay, thank you.
Video is
Oh yeah.
great.
Yeah. Miss
I
Lisa,
think
please.
video is great, and the teacher become the student, like the kids. He involves and he enter the children's world, like behavior. His behavior become the children, and it is interactive. It makes the student excited to learn. I think like.
Yeah. You are mute, Miss Lisa. Oh, sorry. Hello, Miss Lisa, you're mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello,
I
Miss
think
Lisa.
that's all. That.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Lisa. How about question number 2? What do you think of the teacher? Or maybe the students? Or will you do so in your class? Maybe one of the students. Miss Lisa.
Hello.
Yeah, Jenny, please.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, did I audible, ma'am?
Yes, of course. Please.
Yeah, based on the presentation of you, like that was like really incredible videos, and then I really love to see that teacher, because like the teacher, like he action, like he behavior, he like kid, so that's why like he can goes well with a kids or student, so student will happy, like when somebody, like when teacher, English teacher do the same things like in this video, like I guarantee that student will happy to like follow the classes until in the end. So that's why like that was really incredible.
Okay, that's all, Jenny. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Okay, will you do so in your class? Yeah. Yeah, depend on the class you are teaching on, yeah. The situation or in the video is for the very young learners, yeah, around 4 until 5 years old. So let's move to the next slide. Yeah. Young children learn through play, as you have already watched in the video. What is play? Play is the context within which primary students can develop vital skills like complex decision-making and leadership. Yeah. And English young learner in Indonesian context, to inform you that my presentation is in the form of Indonesian context. Yeah. English as a foreign language in Indonesia elementary school faces many serious challenges, such as lack of demonstration. English words are written as opposed to the way the words are pronounced. Sorry for the distracting sound. Low exposure in the English context and unprepared curriculum. And in order to best enable children who want to learn or master English language classes should be adapted to the age of the students. Yeah. We know our students. Yeah, we know our students, and we know we should identify our student interests and needs, so that help us in designing or creating our material or making our class become interesting or creative and innovative. That's the way of teaching English for the young learners. Yeah, these are the age groups, teaching English to different age groups. So teaching students for the age 3 to 5 is different for the students age 5 to 7 and to 7 to 8 to 10, and also different to teaching student age 11 to 14. Each categories of age group have different appropriate way to teach English for them. Okay, this regulation or the rules in Indonesia about the changes of our curriculum, I think it is already explained by the previous speaker. Next is why teach children a foreign language. The earlier the onset of foreign language learning, the greater the chances for language proficiency. Native-like pronunciation, as I mentioned before, that one of the challenges the teacher face, one of them is about the pronunciation, because English has different word in sentence and then different way to read it. Enhancement of knowledge of native language and development of lifelong ability to communicate with more people. If the young learners have good language proficiency, of course. And not at least, but according to the theories, the children should have learning channels. Yeah, should have learning channels. Each of our students have learning channels. That is auditory, visual, and tactical. And they have their inputs, yeah, based on the certain characteristic or certain learning style of the students. Yeah, for the auditory one, the inputs are songs, chants, poems, story read aloud, etc. While for visual children, they have inputs like pictures such as drawing, sketch, photograph, painting, posters, murals, diagrams. And technical children, they have input like real life objects that children can touch, as well as toys and puppets. So these are the characteristic of our children. As a teacher, we should know to help us in teaching English for young learners well. So this is the example, for example, for the listening skill. There are different kinds of children characterization in listening activity. So what should teachers do to create a good atmosphere in the classroom? So there are some ways or strategies, used to fulfill the three learning style or the three characteristics of the children. For the visual learners, they use pictures of robots and rivers, while auditory learners environment sound of a river, tactical learners rowing motion. And the story or song used is row, 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 row your boat, and others that you can see from the table. By looking at the table, we can conclude that teachers should combine three of those learning channels cooperatively. So among the three learning style or learning channels, they have relationship to each other and cannot be separated to each other. And the next point is about strategies for effective acquisition. I point here there are 4 strategies for effective acquisition. The first is immersive learning environments. This means that as a teacher, we can creating an environment where English is used frequently, can enhance exposure and encourage natural language use. So it's the teacher task to create an environment. So there are some recent research mentioned that from the interview, some of the students or most of the students like to learn outside of the class, and only some of the students likes to or prefer to learn English inside of the class. So teacher may choose the right place or the place to teach English for the students. The second is about interactive activities for effective acquisition. It means that the teachers can play games with the students, maybe do storytelling that can make learning become fun and effective. And the third strategy is about scaffolding techniques. It includes visual aids and simplified language input, which help learners gradually build their language proficiency. And the last strategies is integration of technology. As we know that our era now is a digital era, so we hope that our teacher can use digital tools such as educational application and interactive videos, to provide dynamic and engaging learning experience, especially for young learners or young children. Okay, for English for young learners in the classroom practice, we have to look at the 3 points. They are class size. Some of the teachers.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
Okay, thank you, Pa Lasundra. Class size, some of the teachers thought that they have difficulties in teaching students in big sizes or big class sizes. That's why it influences the way teachers teach English for the students. And also the second point is about quality of the teacher. Our teachers now are qualified and also follow professional development program or training such as Guru Penggerak, and other programs. And another important thing is about teacher motivation. So from the teacher, students can learn and motivate and interested to learn English. So I'm going to go fast. So this is the conclusion, I think. The shift in Indonesia English education policy aims to enhance early English proficiency, preparing students for global challenges. So the task of the teacher is to adapt with the policy and then try to implement or try to use a very innovative and creative ways and strategies in order to help boosting students' language proficiency, especially in English. And effective strategies are key to support or to boosting young learners' language skills. And the last quote is, learning English as early as possible is essential to equip elementary level students to have a primary English language to study at a higher level of education. So thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, Pak Lasunra, for the opportunity for me.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Rosina. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we still have about 20 minutes. Yeah, probably. So for sharing session, three person will be okay, I think. And the others who have questions, you may also write your question on chat box. Please raise hand for those who want to ask questions or provide comment. And don't forget to tell us to whom the question or the comment is addressed. Well, audience, any question or comment?
Jenny ada Pak, Jenny Gabriel.
Okay, yes, please. Jenny, please.
Thank you, sir. So, my question for previous speaker. So my question is, what we call like, I've got 3 questions here. So my first question is, how can educators use digital tools for personalized language learning experience for students? That's my first question. And the second question is, how can teachers address the lack of face-to-face interaction in digital language learning? And the last question is, how can teacher address the and like how to maintain our local language as a part of our identity? Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Jenny. 3 questions are already addressed. Yeah, let me invite all the speakers. Who will start first? Probably from Pak Mokhtar will respond to the question, please.
Oh, I will. Jenny, thanks a lot for your inspiring questions. Anyway, I would like to answer the third question, how to maintain or preserve our local languages. That's my expertise, language policy, including sociology of language, how to preserve local language, how to promote English in Bahasa Indonesia. Well, so far we have been very concerned with the endangered languages, moribund languages. According to Professor Crystal of Cambridge University, in 40 years to come, there will be around 50 half languages of the world will disappear. And he wrote a book entitled Language Deaths. And in his book, he mentioned that English is killer language. It killed, as a dominant language, it killed many local languages in South Pacific. And lots of local languages in South Pacific and other former colony of or occupied countries of UK, British, are endangered or moribund. And that's why the local government are supposed to preserve the local language by introduce language policy, language planning and policy. The endangered languages is recommended to be incorporated into local content curriculum. That's one of the strategy to preserve or to maintain the local language. That's what Professor Crystal said, or once said, that the local language may disappear. When the local language disappear, there will be a social strategy. So the school in this regard, schools are responsible for preserving local languages, not only promoting English, but also preserving mother tongue, local language, by incorporating the local language into school curriculum, local content curriculum. That's one. And also, other strategies is the local government should promote local language by encourage the local government, the local tribal leaders, local people to hold annual festival of local languages, like local language speech competition, local language song festival, and the local language should be used in what, like in wedding ceremony, etc. You know, the Hebrew is one of the inspiring example of reviving the language. 2,000 Jewish language Hebrew, they are diaspora. They scatter around the world, and they went back to promising land, and they still use their language, Hebrew, language revival. Yeah? That's one, how to revive the local language, how to preserve the local. That's language policy is very important through PERDA, yeah, local regulation. Regulation introduced or made by member of parliaments or parliament house in its provinces or areas. That's it. Thank you. Back to moderator. Pak Sundra.
Okay.
Okay, Sundra.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Pak.
maybe I wanna.
Yeah. Okay. Ibu first or?
Yeah, I wanna try to answer the first question. Maybe it relates with digital learning. Is it your question, Yani?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you for your question. Very